start for Manchester United.
The media haven't covered this.
Last week's episode. Well, the big news earlier on in the week, guys, was Nuno fired from Forest. Jonesy. I mean, firstly, before we get into the replacement, which I mean, you can't write this stuff. Right decision too soon. I mean, he was very vocal, wasn't he? I don't know what he's fallen out, obviously, with the owner. But
they've had a bust up towards the end of the season. Was it the end of the season, or was it the start of the season?
The start of this season, he said we're not ready, didn't he?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I like having Big Ange back in the Premiership, just for shits and giggles, if nothing else. To be honest with you, he's the new Warnock. So I'll take that. But what I would say is, I don't think, obviously, he didn't deserve to go. He's brought him from relegation to European football. It's a crazy decision. But also, if it was, looking at my own club, they've sort of, they've got the guts to go out and say, like, I've got this person, I think he's the right fit, and they've gone for it, and they're quite sort of ruthless in that way. And I understand it from sort of someone who's a very aspirational owner to do what they've done as well. So
I think what's quite interesting, Rooney, I don't know what your take on this one is, they've picked a manager that was all about structure and very being solid at the back, and chosen a manager that is, it can be a bit of a circus, can't it?
Well, it was, wasn't it? Absolutely, it was a circus at times under Postecoglou, but he did win him a European trophy, which is something Arsenal haven't won in a good few years. So,
do you know what? I just so knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, well, I always do, don't I?
How many minutes are we on the clock there?
Not long, not long. But I think the other thing is, to Jones's point, I think he's good value in the Premier League. I think it'd be good to see him back. Don't forget, his winning period of a month, or those games was back in the last season, and the trophy itself, he did change his identity. Spurs were unrecognisable. They played solid. They played close football. Absolutely no Ange ball. So for me, it'd be fascinating to see how he starts off at Forest.
A lot of people saying, has he learned something? Because I mean, if there was any criticism of him at Tottenham, it was all about that he had no plan B, and has he, do you feel like he's learned something from that experience?
I think, if nothing else, he'll learn some media experience the first time around. How when he went all in, identity is a great thing. You can argue the same thing against United, that you can't see an identity game after game after game. So it does count for a lot. But I think, given Forest's MO over the last 2 seasons, it's going to be very interesting to see what he does.
Yeah,
because they've played solid and really rapid and effective counter-attack.
My 2 sort of question marks over it would be, first of all, what does progress look like for him, considering what Nuno's done?
Yeah,
because that was pretty progressive.
Yeah, what's his MO?
What's the next thing? Is it top 4?
What does success look like?
Yeah, what does success look like? And also, on top of that, I don't know what they were like in the market over the summer, but you've got some players there that have come in under Nuno, and they're now going to have Big Ange to work with.
Yeah,
and they're 2 quite different managers. So how do those new players coming in work under this new regime and the new way of playing, which is a new way of playing? You've got players that have been bought. Maybe they wanted more. Maybe they wanted more players to come in under Nuno's style. They didn't get that, and that's part of the reason why he's gone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious challenges is, Nuno said one of his gripes was they had targets, none of them were signed. He was therefore citing, a bit like Palace when we were talking about them, if they'd have lost Gahey, he said we've got no depth in the squad, we're not prepared. He was concerned about their defensive stability. And I think if you are, Ange, I would be sitting there and going, there was a point, was it last season, where the owners come out on the pitch and started gobbing off on the pitch, and he's having a very public to-do with his manager. Do you sit there and go, Ange has had to have Levy, we'll get onto that in a second, this guy is, is a puppy in comparison.
Well, again, obviously, not the elephant in the room. The kebab in the room is that they're both Greek. In a bit. They're both Greek. So there's some sort of bedfellow sort of thing going on there as well. I believe.
Is he?
You can't ignore it. It's got to be a factor.
Is he believing this? I always win in the second season. They're in the Europa, aren't they?
Yeah, they beat Manchester United.
And I'm not saying this
for the game of football known to man.
Well, I'm not saying this as a bitter Arsenal fan, but we had this conversation, I think, early on, that the Europa League is a lot easier to win as of last season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't play anyone of any note.
If you take it very seriously, it's wrong.
They should win it.
Yeah.
I mean, who else is in there? We need to have a little look. But
maybe that's
Forest should win it, you saying?
Yeah.
Forest will. I don't know what the betting
shout.
is. I don't know if you can pull it up. The betting for the Europa, but I bet they're one of the favourites because they won't be. It's not like it was where it always used to do you in was the teams would drop in from the Champions League if they didn't make it through the group stages, and then you're buggered, right? So now the teams that are in there, I don't know whether you are. This is Rooney having trouble with his Paddy Power app.
The old
here.
BBN.
I don't know if you can get up the betting for the Europa.
What I would say is I think they've lost, not going back to the recruitment and the shift in management. Alanga's gone.
Yeah.
They've kept
White.
Gibbs White just about, but he's there.
Yeah.
But is he there? And is he happy?
There was an article the other week that suggested he was, and it was all to do with personal circumstances at the time, and it suited him, and he wanted to stay. But I think the best thing for me is it's Ange. He's ex-Spurs. It was his first game. Bring it on, Arsenal on Saturday. So
Disregard for Manchester United.
The media haven't covered this.